it's nice to see you here today, Cheryl. For our students who are listening in, Cheryl is one of our teachers, and she teaches mindfulness meditation at Vermont Insight Meditation Center and Northampton Insight. She's a master gardener and master composter. I didn't know that was a thing. As well as a graduate from Spirit Rock's Community Dharma Leader program. Today, she's here to share practices with us, so thank you so much around the holidays and giving, and we can't wait to listen. So thank you, Cheryl.
Okay, thanks, Georgiana. So I thought let's start with just being right here with the present moment. Taking a few breaths. Sitting, and notice that you are sitting. And let's begin with a gratitude practice. Expressing gratitude. Recalling people that you are grateful for. Situations in your life that you are grateful for. And things that you are grateful for. Yes, maybe even material things. Now taking one of these gratitudes and really rolling around in it for, say 30 seconds. Rolling around in this gratitude like a bee rolls around in a flower. Marinating in this gratitude. And of course, the puppy mind will go chasing after some other thought. Bring the mind back to this one gratitude. Perhaps feeling the little flicker of positive emotion that may have been stirred up by this gratitude. And if you do happen to feel in the body some little ember of positivity, experiment with spreading that positive emotion into the body, perhaps down the arms, into the hands. Just give it a try. See what happens. And if there's no feeling of positivity, that's fine too. Just recalling that gratitude, that one gratitude, or perhaps another. So what we are doing with this focus on gratitude is rewiring our neural networks. Focusing on the positive, perhaps even feeling positivity. What would you call that sensation?
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So one of the reasons that we are focusing on the positivity of gratitude in this one, gratitude is usually fairly easy, sort of like counting our blessings. And this is part of how we rewire the neural networks. Perhaps you've heard that little saying of the neuroscientists that the mind is like Velcro for the negative and like Teflon for the positive. This is one way in which we practice feeling into that positivity, because otherwise the mind so easily goes skittering off into the next difficult thing. And of course, that's the way we are wired. We are wired to focus on the negative. So of course, that's what happens. So it's a little challenge exercise, a little experiment, just to check in and see what does positivity feel like, and can I marinate in it for 30 seconds?
Well, it calls to mind to me how easy and how often I can marinate in the negative, you know, how easy those trains of thoughts just roll and roll and roll. And here, you know, it takes a little bit, it takes some practice, but I noticed when I started to cultivate that feeling and touching into that felt sense of that gratitude and those little moments, it could get some momentum behind it, and it just, then they could go off in that positive train.
Yes, yeah. So what did you notice, Georgiana, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, one of the things I noticed was when I stopped trying, you know, because it felt like, you know, what should I be grateful for? And I was trying to think of all these big things. And what it really came down to was the simple things, you know, being greeted with a smile, being welcomed somewhere, having a connection with a dear one and really savoring it and acknowledging, oh, that's a beautiful connection. It was noticing that there's so much here to be grateful for. I just have to take that time to notice it. Yeah.
Right, and do you still have that friendly dog there at Southern Dharma?
We have 2 now.
Okay, right. So just think of those puppies. They are so happy to see you. I mean, I know they're older than puppies, but yeah, they're so happy to see you. And can we be as happy or aspire to that happiness as we think about dear ones and even, yeah, this season, whatever's happening in our lives.
And I really appreciate that you did this practice, because sort of the other thing that was coming to mind is around this time, with there just having been Thanksgiving and with there being all the shopping, emphasis on shopping and going out and needing to get things, it's really easy to feel scattered and honestly a little overwhelmed with all the messages that I'm getting. To just touch into that gratitude was allowed this just moment of relaxation and ease. So thank you.
Right. Yes, yeah, relaxation. And sometimes that little bit of peace can fill us up so that maybe I don't need to go shopping today after all. So I'd like to talk just a little bit about, I know Thanksgiving has passed now, but just there's a little bit of difference between thankfulness and gratefulness. And David Steindl-Rast points this out on his website, gratefulness.org. So thankfulness is this sort of feeling of relief, like, ah, yes. Gratitude or gratefulness comes before that, because it's that moment of grace. We don't use the word grace in our meditation practice, but let's just borrow it for a minute here. That grace of like, oh, the leaves on the tree are so beautiful right now. Or I've just seen a friend. The sky, the clouds in the sky. It's that moment of grace that I am here, I am alive, and magic is happening.
I really appreciate all the examples you gave, because they're right here for us to touch into. And I'm thinking about all of the students listening in, and myself, and we're all in our lives, and sometimes it can be easy to forget our practice, and all those examples you gave are present and right here and available to us.
Right, and they're available while we're driving. Hopefully you're not watching this video while you're driving, but yes, just the tiny little treasures that are available between my house and town, or yeah, wherever I'm going. Yeah, just being grateful that the other people on the road are, for the most part, obeying the laws. Like, there can even be this little politeness at the roundabout. First, no, you first. It's, yeah, those little tiny treasures. So just don't let those go by. That's the positivity that can reorient our lives. That is how we change our minds, by rewiring our brains.
Well, thank you for this rewiring.
My pleasure.
Today, and for all that are listening. I want to mention to our students who are listening, if you have connected with Cheryl here today, to please go check out her website, meditativegardener.com. Right?
Right. And my blog, themeditativegardener.blogspot.com. And the easiest way to get that is to like The Meditative Gardener on Facebook, or my newer book, Garden Wisdom 365 Days. So that's a daily inspiration of mindfulness in the garden, which is one place I like to be.
I love that blending of life and practice in the garden. It's the changing season right now, and I'm wondering, is that impacting your practice or your experience of meditative gardening at all?
Oh, definitely. I was at a retreat a couple of weeks ago, and I like to do the 5 daily recollections. I'm of the nature to grow old. I'm of the nature to become ill. I'm of the nature to die. Everything I cherish will change and vanish, and karma is the only thing I own. And since I've been doing these practices for some years, it's good to refresh them once in a while. And in this fall season, what really struck home for me was I am of the nature to deteriorate. It sort of summed up aging and illness all in one word. The trees out there, the leaves on the trees have deteriorated. Now they're on the ground, deteriorating further. And of course, sometimes it's noticeable that the body is also deteriorating. And it's really most helpful for me in thinking of my loved ones, my sister, my brother. It's hard to watch people you love deteriorating, and yet it happens.
Mhm. And, I was very humbled the other day. I was doing that practice as well, the 5 recollections, and was driving along the mountain, and we'd had a lot of rain. If you've been here, it gets rainy sometimes. And I was driving to our morning sit, and I had to stop because there was a tree in the middle of the road. The rain had washed it right into the middle of the road, and it was a young, strong tree. And it made me think of those recollections, because I'm young, and it's easy to stay focused on my strength and youth. And that was that reminder, that humbling of my human nature, no matter what our age, that is still a practice to tap into and remember.
Right. Well, and the road up there, West Road and Dharma Path, they are of the nature to deteriorate.
As we have all experienced driving up that road with our hands on the steering wheel.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for a beautiful Dharma conversation today and meditation.
Yes, you are welcome.